My name is Steven Abuashiri, the boat driver that had a misunderstanding with Right Honorable Mascot Igwechi some days ago. I still actually want to apologize to him that I'm sorry for whatever I must have said or must have done to have provoked him to that level of anger.
Now, what you people may not understand is that a lot of water has gone under the bridge. You've had the likes of Very Dark Man intervene in this matter. Deji Adeyanju engage or intervene in this matter pro bono and helped him to get to where he is today. But what you find is that he probably goes behind them to meet the same lawmaker. And then he gets 5 million, a Corolla car, and all of that. And the next thing he chooses to do is to do this apology. Now, dear Mr. Boat Driver, I must say this to you. It's regrettable that you are a Niger Deltan, and yet you allowed yourself to be played like this. Because if you don't know, this lawmaker has played you and made a mess of your reputation. That's what he has just done. The 5 million naira will finish. The Corolla will not last forever. But you see, this that you have done a permanent damage to your reputation. And if it was just about you alone, I wouldn't even bother to do this, because as a Nigerian, I have a right of rebuttal to this that you did. If it was just about you, I would not bother, trust me. But what you have done does not do damage only to yourself, it does damage to the human rights activities, the what do they call it now? The activities of freedom fighters like Very Dark Man. The activities, human rights activists, yes. It does damage to the fight against oppression in Nigeria. That's what you've just done. It simply shows that palliative justice won't work. And it's a lesson for Nigerians, because look at it. Poverty has been so weaponized in the country as it is right now. Poverty has been so weaponized. One of the major things that are on the minds of Nigerians right now, guess what it is? If you check, if we could open the hearts and the minds of people, what is there now? It's what forms the syndrome that I call the destiny helper syndrome, the divine connection syndrome. That is what is there. Many people are looking for destiny helpers. Many Nigerians are looking for divine connections. So it doesn't matter. Guess what? The only people that can be destiny helpers right now, that have the money to throw around, the only people that can give you the divine connection that you want, are people that are in charge of the corrupt system. So if Nigerians are caught up in this syndrome of divine helper and destiny helper and divine connection, it is because poverty has been weaponized, and it's because of things like this. I blame him, but I don't blame him. Nigerians must realize that because of the extent of weaponized poverty that we have in Nigeria today, it will take much more than just mere talk for us to solve the problem of corruption. People like this boat driver, they are bound. When election comes, they will sell their votes if they are offered the right money. You are aware there are people, Nigerians, who just go to polling units. They are looking for people who will buy their votes. In fact, when nobody comes to buy, they would rather not vote than to vote without being paid for it. It is because of weaponized poverty. And the only way to solve it is if we had institutionalized social welfare system. And that can only happen by enacting the Food and Social Welfare Law. This is another reason for you as a Nigerian to support us to force the National Assembly to enact, to pass the Food and Social Welfare Bill, and then for the President Tinubu to sign it into law. Honestly, this is just it. If not, we'll continue to have cases like this that will continue to deal dents to the fight against corruption and fight for human rights in Nigeria. We can complain all we want. But the truth will still remain. People like this boat driver, there are millions of them in Nigeria, and they are ready to sell their soul for the next meal. The only way to get them out of the bondage of poverty, the trap of poverty that they have been caught in, so that they can be able to think clearly, is to pass this bill. Ned Nwoko has been pushing something similar to this, but it has some flaws. But with all the flaws it has, it is still better than nothing. I have made my propositions to him to correct some of the flaws in the bill he's trying to push. But even with those flaws, it is better than nothing. And once that is passed, or before or while that is going on, when it comes to the public hearing, we will impute the changes that we are talking about. That is the only way that we free Nigeria. You know, instead of giving all these palliative justice burst of distraction, that's what I call them, palliative justice. Because you see, whatever it is that Very Dark Man is doing, for every single individual that Very Dark Man fights for, there are a million others who cannot receive the same attention from Very Dark Man. The same thing for Brekete family. The same thing from Aisha Yusufu. There are millions of injustices that are going on. So that's why I call what they are doing, yes, it is palliative justice. It is helpful in creating awareness, in creating sensitization, but it will not solve the problem significantly. If we must solve the problem of injustice, of poverty, of corruption significantly, we must deal with it from the roots. And one of the solutions to doing this is what Ned Nwoko is pushing. It's what we started pushing. Is the corrections that we must make to Ned Nwoko's bill so that we can make it a law. Nobody needs to know anybody to get social benefit in Nigeria. For monies to be paid to you, to support you if you don't have a job, if you don't have food to eat, no, you don't need to know anybody. You should not need divine connection for that. You should not need destiny helper for that. For you to get food to eat as a family or as an individual that is broke, that is earning less than 1 million naira a year, for you to do that, for you to get social welfare support, you should not need to know the governor. You should not need to know a minister. You should not need to know a rich man. It should not be by who you know. It should not be by what connections you have. It should be by law. By law. And this is what the solution of the Food and Social Welfare Law, what Ned Nwoko calls the National Social Security Agency Bill. This is what it will do for us. It is in our interest as Nigerians to support this law. 100%. It is in our interest to do it. I see that there are so many other things that are taking our attention. Comedy, skits, movie videos, music videos, movies, football matches. All of these are taking our attention. And I can understand why. They are effective tools of psychological operations and psychological manipulations. But Nigerians, we must now take deliberate actions to wake up from it. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Instead of talking about the latest music video from the latest music celebrity who have had no positive impact in your life, we should be pushing and bringing attention to what Ned Nwoko is talking about, the National Social Security Agency, which we have improved or have an improved version of by way of the Food and Social Welfare Support Bill. You know, this is what we should be talking about. So share this video to people, because if you don't share it, YouTube will not share it to others. And it should also go beyond even social media. It's not about sharing it on WhatsApp or sharing it on TikTok or sharing it on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. No, it should go beyond that. If you understand the message, you should talk to people about it so that they can also support it. When this bill gets attention, if this video gets millions of views, then it will show to the people in the National Assembly that this is what Nigerians want. Because when you see a video that has millions of views, then it shows you that the topic of that video is something that Nigerians are interested in. So when a football video gets millions of views, or a music video gets millions of views, or a movie gets millions of views, the general perception is that people are interested in the topic of that video, whether music or sports or whatever. So when the politicians, because they are interested in numbers, when they see that people are interested in such things, they too will be forced to be interested in it. So this is it. So this is why it's very important for you as a Nigerian to support, to like, to share, to lend your own voice to videos like this that are on topics that are truly going to provide solution for all Nigerians. Don't make a mistake. There's no other solution that will work for us. They will only continue to divide us. There are people talking about so many things now. Constitutional reforms, talking about secession, Odua Nation, Biafra, IPOB, and all that. Electoral reforms. Sam Amadi is strong on that front. True federalism and all of that. But you see, the truth must be told. The people in charge of the system, no matter what laws are made, they will circumvent it. We have a responsibility, and we indeed owe Nigerians a duty to put in double the effort that these corrupt politicians are putting in to capture Nigeria. We owe ourselves that duty to put in double the effort. And that means using the existing system to defeat these people. We can do it. It starts with programs such as this. It starts with programs. So please support it. Support it. Your support is what will make it work. Don't just throw your hands in the air and give up and say, oh, it will not work. Oh, they have written election result for 2027. Oh, Tinubu is a master rigger. Don't just throw your hands in the air and do that. Tinubu is nobody without people. And it is a structure that gives him whatever power, perceived power, you think he has. If we put the right structures in place, beginning with things like this, it won't matter if Tinubu is both the candidate, INEC chairman, the IGP of police, the head of thugs, the head of judiciary, and the head of INEC. It won't matter. We will be able to use the system to defeat them. Right now, election is at the polling unit. Every effort we need to put in to stop rigging in 2027 must be centered around the polling unit. Once we focus on the polling unit, even with the existing Electoral Act 2022 and the Constitution of 1999 as it is, the electoral guideline as it is, we will be able to defeat these people. And it starts with solutions such as this. Please join us to do this. Let's just get away from this constant complaints.